Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we re-diving into one of the most influential books ever written, Plato's The Republic. I know it sounds a bit heavy, but trust me, this ancient text is packed with ideas that are still incredibly relevant today. It's not just a dusty old book. It's a blueprint for a perfect society, a deep dive into the human soul, and a quest for the meaning of justice. So, grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's journey back to ancient Athens to explore Plato's vision of the ideal state. So, what is the Republic all about? At its heart, it's a long conversation, a dialogue led by Plato's real-life teacher, the one and only Socrates. Socrates and his friends gather to answer a seemingly simple question: what is justice? But as you can imagine, this question opens up a huge can of worms. Is justice just about following the rules? Is it whatever the powerful say it is? Or is it something deeper, something essential to living a good life? Socrates isn't satisfied with easy answers. He suggests that to understand justice in an individual person, it might be easier to first imagine a perfectly just city. By building this ideal city in words, they can see justice on a grand scale and then apply that understanding back to the individual soul. This is the core project of the Republic, designing a city from the ground up called Kallipolis, which literally means the beautiful city. Now, this city isn't your average town. It's highly structured and based on a very specific principle: specialization. Plato believed that a just society is one where every person does the one job they are naturally best suited for. No trying to be a jack of all trades. If you're a natural farmer, you farm. If you're a skilled carpenter, you build. This way, everything gets done efficiently and with excellence. This leads to the famous three-class system of Kallipolis. At the bottom are the producers, the farmers, artisans, and merchants. These are the economic engine of the city, providing all the necessary goods and services. They are driven by their appetites, their desire for material things, but in a well-ordered way. Next up, we have the auxiliaries, who are the warriors or guardians of the city. Think of them as the police and the army rolled into one. They are brave, strong, and spirited. Their job is to protect the city from external threats and internal disorder. Their defining characteristic is spirit or courage. They must be like loyal guard dogs, gentle to their own people but fierce towards enemies. And at the very top, we have the rulers, the Philosopher Kings. Yes, you heard that right. Plato argues that the only people fit to rule are philosophers. Why? Because they don't crave power or wealth. Their only passion is for truth and wisdom. They have spent their lives seeking knowledge and understanding the nature of reality, and so they are the best equipped to make decisions for the good of the whole city, not just for themselves. This is a pretty radical idea, even today. Imagine a world run by the wisest and most virtuous people among us, rather than those who are best at winning elections or accumulating power. For Plato, this is the only way to ensure true justice and prevent the corruption that so often plagues politics. To get these incredible rulers, Plato proposes a rigorous and lifelong education system. It's one of the most detailed parts of the book. Children with the right natural abilities are selected at a young age and put through a demanding program of physical training, music, mathematics, and philosophy. They aren't allowed to own private property or even have traditional families. Everything they do is for the good of the community. Their entire life is a service to the state. This is to ensure they are never tempted by personal greed or nepotism. This communal lifestyle is one of the most controversial parts of the Republic. For the guardian classes, everything is shared property, houses, even spouses and children. Plato believed this would create a powerful sense of unity, where everyone in the city would feel like one big family. But it also raises some serious questions about individual freedom and personal relationships, which critics have debated for centuries. So, now that we've built this city, what does it tell us about justice in the individual? Plato argues that the human soul is structured just like the city, with three parts. There's the appetitive part, which desires food, drink, and other physical pleasures. This is like the producer class. Then there's the spirited part, which feels anger, pride, and ambition. This is like the auxiliary class. And finally, there's the rational part, the part that loves learning and seeks truths. This is like the Philosopher King. Justice in the individual, according to Plato, is achieved when these three parts of the soul are in harmony. It happens when your reason is in charge, guiding your spirit and keeping your appetites in check. A just person isn't just someone who follows the rules on the outside. They have inner order. Their soul is balanced and healthy. Injustice, on the other hand, is a state of inner chaos where your appetites or your anger are running the show. This is why Plato concludes that it is always better to be just than unjust, because justice is the health of the soul. But how do the philosopher kings know what's truly good? This brings us to another one of Plato's most famous ideas, the theory of forms. Plato believed that the physical world we see around us is not the real world. It's just a shadow or a copy of a higher, more perfect reality. This higher reality is the world of forms, or ideas. There's a perfect form of a chair, a perfect form of a tree, and most importantly, a perfect form of the good. To explain this, Plato gives us the allegory of the cave. Imagine a group of prisoners who have been chained in a cave their entire lives, facing a blank wall. Behind them, there's a fire, and people are walking back and forth, carrying puppets. The prisoners can only see the shadows of these puppets projected on the wall. For them, these shadows are reality. They don't know anything else. Now, imagine one prisoner is freed. He's forced to turn around and see the fire and the puppets, and his eyes hurt. It's confusing and painful. Then he's dragged out of the cave and into the sunlight. At first, he's blinded, but gradually his eyes adjust. He sees the real world, the trees, the sky, the sun. He realizes that what he thought was real in the cave was just a pale imitation. The sun, in this allegory, represents the form of the good, the ultimate source of all truth and reality. This journey out of the cave is the journey of the philosopher. It's a difficult and painful process of education, of turning away from the illusions of the physical world to grasp true knowledge. The philosopher who has seen the sun, who understands the form of the good, has a duty to go back down into the cave and help the other prisoners to rule and guide them, even if they don't understand him and might even resent him for it. This is the ultimate justification for the Philosopher King. They rule not because they want to, but because they know what is truly good for everyone. Finally, Plato doesn't just describe the perfect city. He also describes how cities decay. He outlines a downward spiral from his ideal state, an aristocracy ruled by the best degenerates, into a timocracy ruled by the honor-loving warriors. This then falls into an oligarchy ruled by the wealthy. The growing gap between rich and poor leads to a revolution, creating a democracy, which Plato saw as a chaotic state ruled by the whims of the masses and their appetites. And finally, out of the chaos of democracy, a tyrant emerges, promising to restore order but ultimately enslaving everyone. This cycle is a powerful warning about the dangers of political instability and the importance of virtue in leadership. So, what's the big takeaway from the Republic? It challenges us to think critically about our own societies and our own souls. A just society can only be built by just individuals, and a just individual is someone who has achieved inner harmony with reason guiding their life. The Republic is more than just a political treatise. It's a guide to living a good, meaningful, and examined life. It's a dense and challenging read, but it's one of those books that will change the way you see the world. It's a conversation that has been going on for over 2,000 years, and it's one that we're all invited to join. What do you think? Could a city like Calopolis ever exist? Are philosophers the best people to rule? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching and for diving into this classic with me. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the greatest ideas in history. See you in the next one.